Good afternoon and welcome to ATN Society Watch. This is a program where we spotlight societal issues, give them a collective attention, and work towards solutions that make society better for everyone. Here are the headlines today. Tragedy. 2 Ondo varsity students drown in hotel pool. Lawlessness. Police nabs landlord for deriving tenant's home. Insecurity. Police pastor bicker over explosive in church. Sex trafficking. NAPTIP rescues 17 victims, arrests 4 in Anambra. We're open for sponsorship of this program. Jingles and advert placements, news and events coverage, personality, society and political interviews, product service promotion, and commercials. Watch us live on www.atlanticnetwork.tv, Ava TV channel 205, Limex TV platform, Ifastech platform, Apple TV, Niger TV, Iroko TV. Connect with us on ATN socials. Subscribe, like, and share. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic TV Network. Instagram and TikTok at Atlantic TV Network 1. And on X at Atlantic Net. We're going on a short break, and when we return, I will introduce our guest and we will dive right into the story. Stay with us. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Joining me on the show today is Mr. Augustus Obonikeme. Augustus is a social activist and a public affairs analyst. Yes. Augustine, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
It's been such a long time. I feel so excited seeing you today and having you on the show with me today.
Thank you very much.
How have you been?
Fine. It's been ages.
All right. Yes, it has, actually. All right. Now on to the story. Two students of Adekunle Adjacent University, Akumba Akoko, Ondo State, have died after drowning in a hotel swimming pool during a party organized for newly matriculated students. The victims, identified as 22-year-old Oludere Opeyemi and 19-year-old Adebola Blessing, attended the event at a hotel in the university community. On January 29th, police said Blessing was first found unconscious in the pool around 8 p.m. and was rescued, given first aid, and taken home after briefly regaining consciousness. Shortly after, Oludere was also discovered unconscious, rescued, and rushed to the hospital in Ikare Akoko, where he was confirmed dead. According to the Ondo State Police Command, Blessing later died in the early hours of January 30th. The hotel manager and pool manager have been questioned, while the case has been transferred for further investigations. The bodies have been deposited at the state hospital for autopsy. All right, Ms. Augustine, what is your, I don't know, do you in any way sense a foul play? Do you sense anything fishy about this report? What is your take on this report?
First of all, I would like to say rest in peace to the students that lost their life. I think it's a very sad one for their friends and for their family, particularly their family. But one thing I would like to say is that I don't think if there is any foul play there. What I believe, considering the incident, is lack of proper or adequate measures put in place to prevent such tragedy from occurring. Because you see a situation where we put facilities in place and we don't put measures in place. A swimming pool, there is supposed to be a lifeguard in place. And there's also supposed to be an emergency response plan in place.
Okay.
Emergency response plans as regards to first aid.
Okay.
First aid treatment in case there's such situation. So we put facilities in place and we don't anticipate when there is an emergency. We don't anticipate emergency. And when we don't anticipate emergencies, it results to situations like this. And this is the outcome, tragic situation. The loss of two students who have just gained admission into the university is a big loss to their parents and to their friends. It's a big loss. So whenever a swimming pool is made, provisions for lifeguard, provision for emergency response plans should also be made. These are things that go side by side. They don't, you don't leave one, you don't leave out one after putting the facility in place.
All right, so I'm actually going to come back to the reason why I asked if you sensed any foul play, but before then, I like to ask, you know, when things like this happen in our communities around us, who do we hold responsible? In this case, who are we to hold responsible? Is it a school? Are they even aware that these children were having a party outside the school, a party of this kind? That's number one. Is it do we hold the hotel management accountable? Do we hold them responsible? Is it the pool manager? I mean, for this hotel to have a management, and the pool on its own to have a manager, and then something like this happened. It's appalling. The manager of the pool is supposed to be by the poolside at every point in time. Mostly in this case where we have students coming to party by the poolside, probably. So we have a situation where we have more than 5-6 students in the pool, and the manager of the pool is not there. Or where was he? I've been asking, like, where was the manager of the pool? Where was the manager of the hotel entirely that this incident managed to happen? For the fact that these are students, they are supposed to know that in the first place, not everybody who is coming to the party knows how to swim. So they were supposed to set eagle eyes at that point. But then, for this to have happened successfully, was it that the person in charge of the pool wasn't there? Or something else happened that they are not telling us, that one person was discovered? And mind you, the girl didn't die that day that the whole thing happened. She was recovered. She was recovered from the pool. She was revived. First aid was given. She gained consciousness, and then she was taken home. She died the next day. And I was even asking, I mean, were they even supposed to take her home or take her to the hospital to do further checks to know if there was water hidden anywhere in her lungs or whatever? Please just make this whole thing make sense.
Okay. Now, when you study the situation closely, you will find out that I wouldn't blame the school authority, because most times after the matriculations, the matriculants, as the students, usually go about celebrating with families and friends. So the school may likely not be aware about such situation. And like I said earlier, the hotel management, I think they have questions to answer. They have questions to answer, because when you put a pool ought to have a lifeguard. A lifeguard is supposed to be in place so that these issues, these unforeseen events, when they occur, people can intervene. That's one of the duties of a lifeguard. Okay. The lifeguard stays close to the pool. And then it also goes as much as telling you how bad the healthcare system is, because the second victim, I think that's Blessing, that was recovered.
The second victim is the male. No, okay, the Blessing is the first victim, okay, that was taken home.
Okay. The second victim that was retrieved and rescued from the pool and later died, wasn't supposed to go home immediately. He was supposed to be kept under close observation.
Oh, okay.
And that also tells you the negligence of the healthcare workers there too. So the police needs to investigate the hotel, and also needs to investigate the hospital, the people in charge of that treatment that declared him fit to go home. They have to investigate them and then before drawing up conclusions.
What about investigating the other students too? I mean, you know, in some hotels when you go, the rules are made very crystal clear. You don't drink before you go into the swimming pool. You don't do this. You don't bring alcohol close and all that. There are certain things you don't do around the pool. We have recorded 2 deaths. A man, a male and a female. What about the other students that were there? What transpired? Did they drink before going to swim? Were the drinks tampered? Did something else just, I don't know. I'm trying to look at this whole thing. This is the area where I'm sensing the foul play. That no, they were all in the pool. Nobody saw them at the point they were drowning. It was after a while, they had already, you know, drank a whole lot of water and all that. That they now were recovered. Were they not swimming with other people? What about the other students? These 2 students. Let's get to. Are we not supposed to do an investigation to get to know if within themselves, within the students, they had issues? Students can be funny. Youths and teenagers can be funny. Don't just say it from this angle.
Okay, it's true. That's another point. But at the same time, we need to why investigation carried out by the police will reveal all this, and that is why the investigation has to start from the hotel management.
The hotel, yes.
Because these students are their customers, and they have to put safety measures in place. And you also spoke about rules. It's not about having these rules. It's about enforcing these rules.
That's it.
You know, having a good rule and not enforcing it is as good as not having a rule at all. So having this rule, don't drink before going into swim and all of that, were they enforced? Were there personnel? Were the hotel personnel in place to enforce these rules? Because if the hotel personnel are in place to enforce these rules, they will be able to check the students, check them, and observe their activities and all of that before going into the pool. So investigation by the police will reveal these issues. We review, well, and eventually I think the police will get to the end of the matter.
All right, let's keep fingers crossed and let's hope that the police will do justice to this report when it comes to investigations and the culprits. Let's just hope that we are going to get to the bottom of the matter. But the management of the hotel, the students and everybody will be investigated, and then we are able to get to the bottom of the matter. On to the next story now. Rivers State Police Command has arrested a Ghanaian landlord, Samuel Frimpong, for allegedly removing the roof of his tenant's apartment in the Mboba area of Obiakpo local government area. The action reportedly followed a dispute after the tenant failed to vacate the property within a 2-week grace period granted by the landlord. The tenant, Anozie, I beg your pardon, Tochukwu, said he had consistently paid rent and was informed late last year that his lease due to expire in January 2026 would not be renewed because of planned renovations. He explained that after presenting proof of payment for a new apartment and requesting 14 days to relocate, the landlord allegedly removed the roof on February 3rd, leaving his pregnant wife and 2 young children exposed to heavy rainfall. Tochukwu said property worth about 25 million naira, including electronics, furniture, personal documents, medications, and savings accumulated over 9 months was destroyed. Confirming the incident, police spokesperson Grace Iringe Koko said the landlord is in custody and investigations are ongoing, and the suspect may be arraigned after due process. Mr. Augustine, I've been thinking, you know, what could make a normal man exhibit such level of wickedness? How? What do you make of this report?
Well, you find out that most people some individuals tend to take laws into their hands and neglect what the law says most times. And whenever the law is neglected, it throws the society into chaos. And as you can see, there's loss of, there's damaged property. There's a result in damaged property. You know, I believe Rivers State Landlord and Tenancy Law, an edict of 1991, gave a procedure for a landlord to evict a tenant. And they shouldn't resort to self-help. What the landlord did there is resorting to self-help, which is against the law and all of that. So he resorted to self-help. And one thing you need to understand is that Rivers State needs to, especially the Rivers State government, Rivers State House of Assembly, needs to make laws that concerning landlord and tenant relationship to prevent such situation. And these laws, the public, both the landlord and the tenant, they need to be educated, they need to be enlightened concerning these laws. They need to be aware of this law, because I believe that if he is probably aware, or maybe he's aware, he just decided to take laws into his hand, and the result is this.
With these results that we have gotten, Mr. Augustine, do you not in any way sense that there could be something more than just the landlord wanting this man to leave his house? I mean, who takes off an entire roof just to make a tenant leave, even after the tenant had shown you receipts that he has made payments for a new apartment and then was just asking for 2 weeks? Do you not think that this man probably, this landlord probably carried out this action based on other reasons that we may not be aware of? Is this just about leave my house, I don't want you here again? Or don't you see it that way?
For whatever reasons, I think for the landlord is in this case, he has his reasons, but you say from the look of the situation, the report, the reasons are callous and inhumane, because you don't give someone 2 weeks rather, to leave a property, and even after showing you requesting for 14 days, you still went ahead to the roof the building without considering the law.
Okay.
You know, one thing you must consider in all these things is that the River State Landlord and Tenancy Law, 1991, made provision for the period of eviction.
Yes.
Made provision for the period of eviction, depending on the payment of rent. It also makes provision for the enjoyment of the tenant of such property. So you don't just wake up as a landlord and then you decide to evict a tenant. A landlord evicting a tenant, just the way and manner Mr. Frimpong, the landlord, did, the way and manner he did it is resulting to self-help, which is against the River State Landlord and Tenant Law.
And the fact that he didn't even consider the pregnant wife and the 2 children. You know, are we going to keep recording incidents like this? A lot of things like this happen, you know. Some landlords, landlords in River State, a lot of them are terrible. A lot of terrible things happen between landlords and tenants that the reports actually do not get to carry every day. But then, is it going to continue like this? What do you think should be done differently to curb this kind of lacunas, to stop reports like this from flying? Because I tell you, if this matter is allowed to just go like that, with time, you will see that we will now keep recording incidents like this where landlords are deroofing their tenants' houses.
Okay.
So what should be done differently? What do you think? What measures should be taken? What should the government do to make sure this doesn't repeat itself?
I think the first thing the government should do, River State House of Assembly has a role to play here. They should revisit the River State Landlord and Tenancy Law. I think it is River State Landlord and Tenancy Law Edict 1991. That means the
We'll continue with the rest of the story. Stay with us. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Now on to the next story. Associate Pastor of the United Evangelical Church in Aba, Eliezer Onyenwako, has challenged the Abia State Police Command over claims that no explosive was found on the church premises. The pastor insists that a dangerous device was unearthed last Friday during excavation work for a new perimeter fence, describing the police statement as misleading. According to Onyenwako, workers discovered a metallic object buried shallowly in the soil, which he said he immediately recognized as an explosive, having previously lived in northern Nigeria. He said a military team later evacuated the device after confirming its dangerous nature, warning that more could be buried in the area. However, the police maintain that no bomb or explosive was recovered, a position the pastor questioned, noting that no officers visited the site. Church leaders have now appealed to Governor Alex Otti for a full investigation and security scan for the premises to allay fears among the worshippers. Mr. Augustine, when in a situation where we now have this party saying there was something like this and this other party saying no, there was nothing like that, who do we get to believe? Who do we believe? Now we have the pastor. The pastor had actually come out earlier to raise an alarm that they discovered a buried explosive object around the church premises, you know. And then later on, the police is coming. The police also came out to say that, to debunk what the pastor had said, that no, there was nothing buried. There was nothing like that. And now we have the pastor coming out again to also disagree with the claims of the police, saying yes, something was actually buried in our church premises. We actually saw an explosive in our church premises, and then he has alleged the claims of the police to be misleading. And he also said that the police never even visited the church premises. So how did they know that there was nothing buried? Now, what do we believe, Augustine?
Well, it's a very funny situation because this has to do with security. And when such things happen, the sister agency of the police, which is the military, that the pastor said came to the site and went away with the bomb, should make a statement. They should come up and make a statement, because if the pastor claims that he has seen such an explosive and the police is denying it, saying there was no such thing. Then it behoves on the military that came and went away with that got to the site and carried
the army.
The army that came to the site, carried the equipment. Behoves on them to come out and make a statement. We went there, we saw it, and then we carried it, took it off for the safety of citizens living around there. Because this argument between the pastor and the police, this one said there was something like that, and this other one said there was nothing like that. I think the military, with a statement, can just sort and maybe end the argument. Well, I really think that when such a report comes up, it behoves the police. It rests on the police to investigate.
Amen.
To investigate the issue before coming out to make a statement. Investigate, get to the site, look at what transpired, and even a visit to the military to confirm would have even been better than this clash of words between the pastor and the police. It's really disheartening.
Augustine, you know, issues like this, what kind of image does it portray about a military system, a security system? Now, I'm going to deviate a bit to talk about issues like this from other angles too. There is something that I have noticed in a way that is now becoming a norm with our different sectors in Nigeria, not just the security sector. Whenever a group of people come out to make an allegation, come out to make a statement that, see, this is what happened between us and this sector, you know, the counter response from the sector, the other sector, the counter sector, is always denial. Let's look at, like I said, this is not just the military sector. Let's look at the health sectors too. Let's also look at the educational sector too. But then let's focus more on the health sector. Was it just last week, early part of this week, we had the Ifunanya case that was bitten by a snake. She managed, according to the report, she managed to tie up the spot and then took herself to the hospital. And then the report had that the hospital did not have anti-snake venom to administer to her, which subsequently led to the loss of the innocent girl. And then later on, we saw that the hospital came out to debunk that no, they are lying. We had the venom, we had the anti-venom, whatever. In that case, I would have asked, so if you people had the venom, the anti-venom, then what happened? We also had a similar case last week with an ambulance company and a family that had Mr. Falana as their legal representative, you know. The family said their daughter was very sick. The girl was even moved in from London, was in a hospital in Lagos. I'm not going to mention the names for now. In a hospital in Lagos, so they needed to transfer the girl to another hospital. So they employed the services of this ambulance company. They sent the ambulance to move the girl from hospital A to hospital B. And then the family alleged that on their way to the next hospital, there was a stop. The ambulance stopped due to technical failure and whatever they alleged. The mother of the girl said she was right in the ambulance. And then when the ambulance stopped, the driver even asked her to pass him a bottle of water, which she did. The deceased younger sister also said she was driving right behind the ambulance, and then at a point the ambulance stopped, and they said this actually led to them losing their sister. In response to this, we also saw the ambulance coming out to say it's a lie. We never stopped at any point. So we're always having issues of denial from counterparties and all that. And very rarely have we ever had a case where these allegations were made, or issues like this are brought forward, and these other people come out with their full chest to take responsibility and say, oh, we are sorry. It actually happened like this. We made a mistake. It won't happen again. I'm very concerned. We barely see it like this. It's always denial, 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 denial. This party is saying it happened. This party is saying it didn't happen. What does this generally have to tell about the Nigerian system and the different sectors in operation in Nigeria?
Okay. We live in a Nigerian society where people rarely take responsibility, you know. From the government agencies to the even individuals, most citizens, they don't take responsibilities. Most government agencies don't take responsibility. So you see them coming up to deny when allegations are being made. Allegations are being made. But one way of curbing this is when a system works, when such thing happens, the first thing that is done is that a panel or a committee will be set up, and the matter will be investigated. And when the matter is investigated, you'll find out that the truth will be unraveled in a system that works. So when we don't have systems in place that works, you find situations like this keep happening. You find allegations, and you find rejection of such allegation, and see people opting out from these responsibilities. So one way of curbing this and then denial is when such thing happens, the institutions, federal government, state government, even local government, can set up a panel, set up a committee, a working committee, not just setting up a committee, a working committee made up of honest and people to investigate this matter and come up with recommendations. Not just when there is an allegation, we just leave it there. There's an allegation, there's a counter allegation, there's a rejection of responsibility and all of that. So whenever such thing comes up, there should be an investigation. Even concerning this matter, we are looking at the pastor and then the police. And the CP of Abia State, the Commissioner of Police of Abia State, should set up a team that will investigate the matter and then come up with a conclusion with the truth. Thank you very much. But you find a situation where you just see okay, this man made this allegation. This man is saying that this happened. Let us investigate. He said military were involved. Let us investigate. Let us see where this leads us. But to immediately come out to debunk what the pastor has said, it simply means that we are not ready to move forward. We are not ready to own, because when you don't own up to when a country doesn't own up to its faults or its responsibility, they are not
willing to change and move.
They are not serious to move forward.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much for that beautiful analysis. And now on to the next story. NAPTIF says it has rescued 17 victims of human trafficking and arrested 4 suspects during a raid on a popular hotel in Onitsha, Anambra State. The operation, carried out with military support, followed intelligence reports of underage girls being exploited at the facility. 2 additional suspects linked to the alleged baby trafficking in the southeast were also arrested. According to the agency, the victims were trafficked from Benue, Imo, Ebonyi, and Akwa Ibom states and forced into prostitution, with each required to remit between 20,000 naira and 25,000 naira daily to their handler known as Madam. 4 of the rescued victims tested HIV positive and are currently receiving counseling and medical care. NAPTIV's Director General Binta Adamu Bello condemned the actions of the traffickers, particularly the alleged confiscation of antiretroviral drugs by the victim's handler. She confirmed that a manhunt has been launched for the suspect and that the hotel owner has been invited for questioning as the agency intensified efforts to dismantle trafficking networks nationwide. We have another very terrible report, a situation where children are being trafficked and are subjected to prostitution, and some of them are now even recorded to have been tested positive for HIV. And even when drugs were being given to them, the madam seized it. That's their handler. I mean, you have not only subjected these children to prostitution, you want them to die of the ailment of HIV. What do you have to say of this report?
I think it's a sad one. You know, these issues keep coming up every day, every now and then. They are not past issues. I think NAPTIP, Binta, who is in charge of NAPTIP, the institution, the organization should be proactive rather than reactive. They shouldn't react to situations. They should be proactive. Proactive in the sense that they have to prevent these things from taking place. You know, the reason why the reason NAPTIP was set up, I think that was 14th July 2003. Why it was set up was to combat human trafficking, to combat it. And one way of effectively combating human trafficking is to prevent it, is to have an intelligence network that prevents these young girls from even taking there in the first place. These people go to visit villages and using the poverty situation in the country, all over the country, in luring these young girls into these particular activities. So when they do this, they take them to the cities. They don't have anywhere to go. They are brought there, and they are meant to work to repay the whoever that brought them. So the NAPTIP should look for a way to see how they can develop an intelligence network and combat these issues effectively, and see to it that it doesn't become a recurring issues. I know that one of the contributory factors is the high rate of poverty in the country.
The economy.
And the situation of the economy.
But then, Mr. Augustine, I like to ask, when things like this happen, when we get reports like this, what do we even hold responsible? Apart from the state of the economy of the country, you know, like I would always say, there is no reason that is justifiable for committing crime, for going into this kind of crimes. But when things like this happen, what do we even hold responsible? Is it the parents of these girls?
Okay.
I mean, let's look at it from the angle of the parents. So these girls have, your daughter just leaves, your underage daughter just leaves the house and tells you she's going to work. You didn't ask her, and most of these girls, I believe, they do not even have certifications. They do not even have handworks. They leave the house just like that, tell their parents. What did they even tell their parents? And how come their parents were so relaxed that their children are working? in the city and they did not. Do we hold the parents responsible? Do we hold the community, those people are around that saw these girls? Of course, the hotel or whatever this was happening, it didn't happen in isolation. People live around there. How come they say they saw all of these and kept quiet? Do we hold the system, the society, the community, or the parents of these girls responsible?
I think I believe in well, there is a principle that states that survivor, you know, eradicates a thoughtful process, eradicates proper thinking. When someone is trying to survive, I think the first and foremost, the people that should be held responsible are the parents. The parents and guardians of these young girls should be held responsible for, because that's the young girls can also be lured with the promises of greener pastures in cities and all of that. So they can be lured, and sometimes their parents are not aware. And sometimes their parents may even be searching for them, for their whereabouts, and they are nowhere to be found. So it's not entirely I won't blame the parents of these children, most of them anyway, or some of them anyway. But I think it's a system problem. We have a problem with the system. The system, the lack of economic progress in Nigeria has resulted to all these situations, and this has led us into a very, very difficult situation. The girls, the NAPTIP doesn't just combat; they also support the victims. Because I think they are to combat. When they were founded in, on the 14th of July 2003, their two core mandates is to combat and also support the victims.
Okay.
And one way of supporting victims is to reintegrate them into the society.
Okay.
But they should try as much as possible. There should be enlightenment programs. You know, enlightenment programs are most times this human trafficking situation. The enlightenment program are mostly limited to the cities. It should be taken to the villages. Locals in communities should be trained, especially these messages of human trafficking, how to identify a trafficker, how to spot one, and all these things. Locals should be trained, and this information should be passed down to these locals in their dialects to prevent these things from happening. But if you ask me who is to blame, I think government needs to take responsibility. Government needs to do more, especially when it comes to that agency. They need to do more. They need to do more with the economy. They need to do more with empowering NAPTIP as an agency to encourage the fight of human trafficking.
All right, thank you so much for this great analysis. Augustus Obonike, it's been beautiful having you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Because we do not have all the time to ourselves, this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Atlantic Society Watch. Thank you so much for staying put with us. We're open for sponsorship of this program, jingles and advert placements, news and event coverage, personality, society and political interviews, product service promotion and commercials. Watch us live on www.atlanticnetwork.tv, Avo TV channel 205, Limex TV platform, Ifastech platform, Apple TV, Niger TV, Iroko TV. Connect with us on ATN Social. Subscribe, like, and share. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. And on X, at Atlantic Network. Remember and don't forget that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Ofina Anucha Christopher.